Thanks for taking a second to check this video. Today we'll be installing Undercover Lights truck lighting kit on this Ford F-150. The only installation tools you'll need for this install would be a wire crimper and a wire stripper. The wires are standard gauges, so any should do. The truck we're using today has a 10mm connection, which is pretty standard, but having an adjustable wrench handy will make sure you can install to any vehicle. So what we have in front of us is the standard truck lighting kit. Inside you'll find warranty information and installation instructions in case this video isn't thorough enough for you. Major kit components are the connection harness, zip ties, alcohol wipes, and the connecting pieces. You also have the optional battery box and wire, and finally the light pods themselves. First up is the wire section. There's a 25-foot section of wire and a 10-foot section of wire, and the optional included AA battery box, which again we're not going to use for this install. We're just going to wire directly to the truck battery. Next up is the light pods. Each pod has 3 LED lights. They're super bright. In the truck kit is included 2 5-foot sections of light pods for a total of 20 pods. And of course, pre-stuck on is the 3M sticky tape that we'll use to affix to the truck rails. The final set of components are all the connectors. So there's an inline fuse, the light switch itself, which will mount in a convenient location on your truck, the connection zip ties, stanchions, which again have sticky tape to give yourself an area to connect the zip ties to if you can't find a looped area. Ring connectors to connect directly to the battery. There's the fuse for the inline fuse box, and butt connectors to connect the different wire gauges together. We started here by initiating the wire run back to the truck bed. So in the battery bay, you want to make sure you leave yourself enough wire to get to the connections, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And then you're running the wire down just to the frame. You want to make sure the connections are free of rubbing, and use zip ties along the way to make sure it's a clean connection that won't get hung up on anything. The important thing to notice here is proper installation directly to the battery of a vehicle avoids any issues of tapping into the vehicle's electrical system. Now for the fun part, crawling underneath your vehicle. What we're looking for is just any spot in the frame where we can string zip ties through, so there's a lot of good spots, and we'll run the wire down the length of the frame, zip tying it as frequently as 1-foot sections. Particular truck, 2014 F-150, we're actually going to run the wire all the way back from the battery to the back of the bed, and we'll make our connections to the light pods there. On some trucks it might make more sense to come up behind the cab between the truck bed itself. Now that we've run the wire to the back of the truck, what we're going to use is this access tunnel here. We started with snaking the wire, the primary wire outside the run, and running it down through the truck opening. If you're struggling with this step, and all vehicles are going to be different, but for a Ford, you can remove one rear tail light here to get access to help hide the wires, but you don't necessarily need to. And then once you snake one wire down, you can tie it off to the first wire and pull it back through the hole. And what it gives us is a nice clean way to hide the wire and start underneath the rail for the lighting pods. Here at the back of the truck bed, we run the wires down through from the battery down by the frame up the side of the truck, and here are the connections we'll need to make. So the negative, the solid lead, is going to connect to the negative switch, and the positive connections are going to connect together. So we need to connect the light pod for one side of the truck bed with the light pod running down the other side of the truck bed, and to the connection, the positive connection of the switch itself. So that's the wiring connections that need to be made. And what we'll do is we'll end up tucking them all in the hole here to keep them hidden once we stick the light pods and the switch in a convenient location wherever you decide to fit it.
Okay, I want to talk through the wire diagram a little bit. Here you have the battery depicted at the front of the vehicle with the red depiction, positive line, and the inline fuse, and the negative line. This part here is the connection underneath the truck frame back to the switch. And remember, when we do all these connections using butt connectors, everything is like to like. So black line to black lines, and the black line with the white tracer always to the black line with the white tracer. Here are the two light pods on either side of the truck rails, and you'll use that extra 10-foot section of wire to make the run between the two different sides of the truck. So here would be a connection to the light pod on both positive and negative, and here you have a three-way connection on the light pod coming from the other side with the primary side light pod back to the switch, and likewise with the negative connections, the same exact layout.
Just so you can get a visual on how that would look, if you do take the lighting pod out, you get clear access through that tunnel. And so we're running up a wire with a split wire from the back of the truck bed up both sides so we can get access to either rail of the truck. When you go to make your connections at the battery, and let's be clear, don't connect this to the battery until all the other connections are made. There's two lines coming off the electrical wire. The one with the dashed line is what we're going to connect to the hot lead, to the positive terminal of the battery. So that's what's going to get your fuse, inline fuse connection. Of course, make sure to place the fuse inside the fuse box and close that up tight. And that's what the two connections will be made at the battery terminal. Just be sure to use the provided alcohol wipes after the truck has been cleaned, but just to give yourself the best possible connection between the 3M tape and the rail surface. So we'll clean inside the rail, and then immediately following that, peel the backing off the 3M pod and push it into place. Hold for a few seconds, and the connection will be made, and you can work your way down the same way down the length of the rail on each side. So we got the pods lit up on the rail. Nice undercover light. What we see here is a situation where we want to use a stanchion to tuck this wire away out of sight. So there's nothing in here to hook the wire on, so we'll use a stanchion with the adhesive band. I'll stick it up here. And then we'll just come with a wire tie through the stanchion to wire tie this out of the way, so it's going to stay hidden. Once the wiring is complete, take a moment to admire your work. Installation of undercover lights on this truck. Visit our website, undercoverlights.com, to see more kits for boats and trailers. It's a versatile product that can be used for just about anything, and we hope you enjoy having light in your truck.